Durag Diaries, yo, what's good, people? Welcome back to the channel today. It's your favorite show of the channel, the Spurs therapy session, Boardroom talks, and I couldn't do it without my special panelists that I've got joined with me today. I'm gonna introduce every one of them, but before we do, we used to start our shows like this before, but it's because the contingent went all the way left, we didn't do it. But now, now that there's some, I'm just want to check in. Put your hand up if you're Ange in. Hey, this is what I mean. We're gonna get into it. I didn't expect to see two. I didn't expect to see those two put their hands up. People know who I'm talking about. But Luke, it goes without saying, Mr. Ange in himself, spotlight on Spurs. How you doing, bro?
I'm all good, mate. I'm all good. I'm not bothered about football until next week, middle of next week. Then I'm worried about football. That's it. That's how it is at the moment.
That's it, man. Just looking to get over that final hurdle, and then we can rest, really enjoy our summer. And it's either going to be one of our best summers in a long time, or just another depressing one like usual. And then the guy who, I know I said it last time, but I can't not keep saying it. The 1K man himself, he joined the team. He joined the 1K gang. My light Elijah, what are you saying, bro?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on. I'm glad to be part of this again, man. The content's been slacking from me recently, but we're gonna be back soon.
I don't blame you. I think it's all of us Spurs guys. We just want to get to the end of the season. But last week, we're keeping the content coming. We're coming heavy, pause, but we're gonna keep it coming heavy. A lot of streams, a lot of work. And I know I usually have his other Spurs King contingent on. Usually it's Mr. Automatic himself, but because he's got other shows going on, I thought it's only right we get Marlon on for one of the biggest ones yet. How are you saying? What are you doing? Oh no. What are you saying? How are you doing, my bro Marlon? Don't way around. Don't know what happened, but yeah.
It's fair. No, I'm good, man. I'm good. You know what? Football's football, innit? Just there's so many arguments to have, but you gotta love the game. This is one beautiful game, no matter how much. But all I'm gonna say is, all those people that said they wanted 17th on the cup and the trophy, how are you finding it?
How are you feeling now? Not for real. I remember having those conversations, and I was one of the people going, you're mad. But there was people going, no, I want a trophy. So we're gonna get into all of that. Last but definitely not least, he hasn't been lacking with content. He's been keeping it coming. He's been away for a few days, but he's definitely been keeping it coming. On the road to 1K himself. My like Hotspur season, Hotspur Cave, Jay. What are you saying, bro?
Mute, gang.
He's on mute.
I'm here. I'm live. Ignore the mute. You know what I'm saying? Much love for having me on as always. You get me? Big up the panel. Big up the chat. I will continue singing Anjin because everyone's Ange out now, so I'm Anjin. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. What can I say? It's the first weekend I haven't been pissed about football. You know what I'm saying? I was watching Eze bag goals from the beach. You know what I mean? Eze was just dumping them.
You know what? I'm glad you said that, Jay. I'm glad you said, because I actually wanted to check in with you guys. Did anyone actually watch the Crystal Palace game on the weekend? Because I didn't.
First half.
I
watched the second.
I wasn't putting myself through it.
I did a watch along for the first half, and the chat voted that I end stream, so I ended stream after the first half. Yeah. It
seems like your chat doesn't. They either don't like watching your watch along because they always voting for you to end the stream, or you just choose the wrong watch alongs. It's either one or two.
I do every watch along though. That's the problem, bro. I do every single watch along. Look, every game we play, unless I'm working, I'm streaming, and most of the time I'm running home. That's why they want me to end a lot of the time, because I'm rushing home in a suit and tie, trying to run for trains and that just to get home and watch us lose. It's like the chat, they feel bad for me. That's why they want me to end streams, bro. They want me to have a life.
Well, no, I feel bad for anyone that watched that game. But Luke, you said you watched it, didn't you?
Yeah, I watched it on a wonky stream, but I watched the whole game. But I actually watched the Man United game as well because I was around someone who's a Man United fan's ass.
Okay.
Yeah,
fair.
just as bad as us, let me tell you.
Hey George,
Just as bad, probably worse. Go on, Jay.
to the Spurs fan that I sold my Palace ticket to, how was it, mate? Cheers. Sorry, can't continue.
Nah, you're
I
a
said
bad
he's in the
guy.
stadium.
That's
He's-
rude.
He's
You
a
should be
bad guy.
apologising.
He set him up.
You should be sending that man a refund.
Jay set
Chris,
him
man.
up. But look, I wasn't even going to touch on the game, but because some of you guys watched it, I suppose. Look, I'm gonna come to the panel. I really can't keep. I don't have nothing to say on it. But Marlon, I want to come to you. What were your thoughts on, I suppose, the changes? Because obviously there was 8 changes to the lineup from the game prior to that, and
Yeah.
did it play out how you expected? Because I suppose there was always going to be one eye or full focus on the Europa League final.
Well, of course, it played out exactly how I expected. The only thing that was missing was a bit of effort from the players. The result and everything else was standard. I didn't understand why people were going completely crazy over it because he's put out a weak side. He's someone who's been plagued with injuries all season, which a lot of people, and there's been a lot of discussion, saying that he's caused the injuries. And then they want him to go and put the first team out there, then to get in. And then if they get injured, like Van de Ven and Romero have missed an amount of games this season, so many. And when they've been back in the Europa League, they have been solid, both of them. So look, this is what happens when Crystal Palace are a better team anyway. So I kind of expected it. I wasn't mad about it, but it was just disappointing that the players just didn't put anything into it. Apart from that, it's just typical Spurs, isn't it? Typical Spurs.
Yeah. It's just typical. And look, the Crystal Palace fan in the chat said, "Can't believe how poor your B side are. We could have scored 6. Surely
But
they would have wanted to prove themselves to Ange for the final."
They'd have beat our A side though. They'd have beat our first team, like they did back in October. So I don't get where the narrative comes from. It don't matter who he would have put out there, we would have still lost.
Mateta and Ben Davies is crazy, bro. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Now,
but
do you know what? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, because obviously, look, they bat us, and like you said there, it was expected. Many of us expected to lose that game. Was anyone hurt by the loss, though? I suppose that because look, let's just add the context to it. 20 defeats. That is now our record amount of defeats in a Premier League season. Ange has beaten what was the set record prior to that at 19 defeats in 03, 04, I believe, and 93, 94. It's one of the years around that. I think 02, 03, and then 93, 94. And some of those seasons the teams were a lot worse. So this loss ultimately made this our worst ever recorded season. Did that not like sink into any of you guys and make you guys like really deep how bad we are right now?
Yeah.
Big up, Jay.
Yeah,
Go
it
on.
did. Big up Jay, by the way. Big up. But do you know what it was for me, George? Yeah. I don't even think it was the loss that pissed me off that much. I think it was kind of the excuses after, because it's like Palace are also in a cup final. So is this what we do? Do we just throw games so we can focus on a cup that we haven't won yet? It's like, you know, I don't know, man. I was more annoyed because I some of these players, right? Like Marlon rightly pointed out, some of these players don't get many minutes, and when they do, it's sort of pity minutes, right? So it's almost like, go out there, go and put on a show, go prove yourself, prove why you deserve some minutes, right? We've been screaming for Archie Gray to play in the midfield. I think now we can all see why that probably isn't a great idea, right? The back line, I mean, I'm gonna just be honest, bro. We knew from the time I see Ben Davies' name in that back line, that's minimum 1 goal. And it's not even because he's a bad defender. But I'm looking at that Palace team, Ismaili Sarr, Eze. I'm looking at these players and I'm thinking, he ain't got the legs for this. He's not built for this. He don't have the minerals. Do you know what I'm saying? Big up minerals. He don't have the minerals. So yeah, I was more just hurt at like, at least put an effort on. If you watch that Eze goal, Eze was in a trampoline park, just bare space, bro. There was that he was just there. No one was picking him up. So I was thinking, all right, maybe they don't care. Maybe they don't care. Maybe that's what it is. But I don't know. I don't know.
I didn't see I saw the Eze goal, but more what I saw more important. Why was Eze laughing so much? I don't know, was he laughing at us? Like,
Yes,
was
he
he
was
actually
laughing
laughing
at us, bro.
Because I just saw the tweets and I saw like Eze laughing after his goal, and I was thinking, bro, I thought we were cool. Like Eze, we were talking. Eze was supposed to come to Spurs.
I think
We
throughout
were-
the game,
Maybe he was just laughing in general.
I think throughout the game, the Spurs fans were singing to him about coming. They done it when he was on a corner, singing to him about coming to Spurs, and he kind of gave a little side eye. And then I think after the game, he was signing some shirts, and they was all saying,
Yeah.
"Are you coming Spurs?" I don't know whether there was a bit of back and forth for the crowd the whole time. I'm not too sure.
He's probably laughing because he ain't coming.
Do you think he laughed at the prospect of playing for this?
Why not
club
coming to
these
this?
years?
No,
No, it is not.
These man try to sign me, you know. This is who wanted me. Safe. Nah, I'm good.
Nah, it was a little bit of a nightmare on the weekend. And look, I only wanted to just briefly touch on it because I knew there was only going to be very few Spurs fans that actually watched and still invested into the Premier League season. I would say right now, smart if you don't. Maybe this Aston Villa game, probably one worth watching, I think, because we're going to get into why that might be. But as people may not recognize this background, get used to it. I've done this on purpose. Because just I'm engaging in Mikel Arteta's tactics, you know. When there's a big game, you have to make them feel uncomfortable from early. So I put us in. We're already at the stadium. Yeah, we're there. We're already walking around the ground, trying to get used to. I know Man United played there and they got a win there already this season. I'm trying to feel like we're there down at the stadium right now. So with this in mind, Europa League final. I first want to say, does anyone think that if Ange wins the Europa League, it changes, I suppose, the overall outcome for him at the end of the season? Does Ange keep his job if he wins Europa League? And explain why. Go on, E.
Probably.
I want to take this one because it's like
Go on.
I saw a stat before. You hear me?
Oh,
Yeah.
So it was epic. Yeah, no, I saw a stat before, yeah, that made me kind of think kind of like a double thought about it, because I was like, this is kind of crazy because the stats here are insane. And I'll find the stats, and basically, I don't think you can blame the injuries to the extent, but I will say, in a bit of defense to Ange's, I feel like this system, the more he tried to adapt the system, the more he broke what originally kind of worked, because he's not one of these coaches that can do these kind of adaptations and things like that. That's not his style. We brought him in to be a front foot attacking manager. You saw when Hansi Flick was at Germany and he had a profile of players that couldn't play the way he wanted to play. The national team was terrible, you know. But then you bring Nagelsmann in as someone who's more technical, is insane. But the stats that I've seen is that Tottenham Hotspur's team, only Pedro Porro this season in the Premier League has played more than 2/3 of the minutes. Only Pedro Porro. Out of your whole 11, one player has played over 2/3 of the minutes. Just one.
yeah.
Do you know how insane that is?
Every single one of them's had quite a big injury.
Bro, I'm saying, no, listen, go look at any other team, yeah? You won't find and say, you know, like you'll see like 5, 6, 7, 8 players in almost every other team minimum who will have played over 66% of the minutes. So to me, that kind of lays out the record. What is it? The record when Romero and Van der Ven is playing, what's it, 20 games, 15 wins. It's either 2 losses or 3 losses.
It's the back four and the goalkeeper. So when Vicario,
So whenever the back four
and
and
Doggy.
yeah. So it's one of those where, based off how I judge football, out of possession, I've not seen enough from Ange for me to think we're just going to rectify this. But you have to offer context, and it's not excuses, it's context, you know. And I think depending on what, I'm not saying you have to look at that. Everyone can look at that information and make their own mind. For a lot of people, it doesn't matter, you know. But
the context is though with it. If you go look at his past record with different teams, but you have to. And then, but the Premier League is always going to be a league where if you're going to play that style of football, it's all right when you're in leagues that are not as tough. But when you come to the Premier League, want to play that football, the injuries are always going to happen.
Yeah, but
But the problem is, okay, the first season.
Because mate, you are downplaying that stat I just gave you. Like that. Like,
no, I'm not. I'm not downplaying it because you can't say I'm not downplaying it. Bro, because it's going to happen when Ange. It's going to happen.
One player played over 66% of the minutes in the league.
Yeah, but the problem is
normalize that.
Yeah, but that's 2 years of the same stat because
no, it's
a
not.
lot of people.
This season, bro. The last.
Yeah, but last season he got injuries,
right?
And
you saying last season was a fluke? Because this is what I sometimes don't like about Spurs.
No, it wasn't a fluke.
You could attribute credit somewhere.
Oh wait, Jay, let Marlon go, and then you come back just so we can hear both of you.
Look, but when it comes to Ange, the same part. As soon as the injuries and the suspensions happened, that's when the form dipped. Now, if we're going to sit there and say we can only win when we've got the back five, well then what Spurs doing? Because Ange has got to learn that actually he's never going to have a fully fit team. And the issue that you've got is say, let's take Arsenal using the excuse now. Look, we've got injuries, we've got this, we've got that, we've got this. That's why they didn't win the title. But they're not lying 17th in the league. They're lying in second. Manchester City have had injuries. They're lying fourth or third now. So
but both things can be true. He can be having injuries, and some of it be his fault, and he should have also probably improved. But there is a reason why.
I always said the Vicario injury it happened. It was just one of those coincidences that happened in the middle of the season. There's nothing you can really do about that. That happens. But Van der Ven, if you go look at his past 3 years as a player, 4 years, he misses a chunk of the season. This was before Tottenham. So we've signed a player that we're going to rely on here. And you can clearly see if you go and do the data behind it, actually, I'm going to be missing him for a chunk of the season.
You're not blaming the club then? Why is that Ange's fault?
I'm not. This is not just on Ange. This is the club and Ange. Yeah. This is both because I'm looking at it going, you know what system the guy wants to play, but yet you go buy him a player that's going to be missing like 15 to 20 games. It's not small chunks. It's 15 to 20 games, and that's the play he's relying on the most. Romero goes and makes mistakes in his system. Romero's another player, even for us, even under Conte, he misses chunks of the season. And this is the issue that you've got is that the data's there in front of Ange and the board and everything, but yet they've gone out and gone, oh, we're going to rely on these lot. And you got to remember, Dragusin was only signed because of injury, and so was Danso. Both players are only signed because of injuries.
And Dragusin and Davies have been our best pairing this season. I'm sorry.
Oh, box office.
I'm not doing this.
He always comes in with something silly.
By the way, Marlon, why are you disappearing for? Why are you disappearing for? Why are you doing your boy like that? Why are you doing your boy like that, Bob?
One second, my kids are back.
Oh, fair enough then. You don't do your boy like that, Bob. By the way, yeah, Mr. Box Office had to turn up. Sorry, Bob, yeah, because I had to debate.
They were saying in the comments you were getting cooked on another show, so you came over here.
I wasn't getting cooked. I was not getting cooked at all. Yeah, I was cooking that guy, and I was going to cook him even more. Even though good on him for turning up, though. You know what I mean? Yeah. Another one for you.
Wait, build on that point, Box Office, because I don't want you to divert and start going elsewhere.
Oh yeah,
you said Dragusin and Davies has been our best pairing. Please,
But when you play them right, they were defensively very, very good, weren't they? They were defensively very good. They got us through games. They got us through games, didn't they? You know what I mean?
They've done a good job.
Yeah. I think that's a great.
I remember the first game where I see Dragusin and Davies together, and I already was worried. Was Europa League? I think wasn't it Karabag that he got sent off. Dragusin got sent off in that game for his stupid mistake. Then the game after that, where he next played was Alkmaar when we was at home, the group phase game, the league phase game. Them two looked horrible next to each other. In that Alkmaar game, that first one, I remember I was at the stadium. We was like that second half when we got that goal. Obviously, we only beat them 1-0 with that Richarlison penalty. They was peppering us. They were catching us on the back. Ben Davies and Dragusin are making mistakes. They're looking like they're not even like talking. There's no chemistry. I don't know what you guys are watching.
I think it depends on what it depends on what you want. Like we're talking about their backup, their fourth and fifth choices. Like we expecting them to come in and play 10, 15 games in a row. That's not what they're there to do. I remember back in the day when we had Wimmer. who used to come in, and every time he come in, he looked like a boss. And then as soon as he played 5 or 6 games, you was like, what is he doing? It depends on what you want from them. You can't have them as your main. Yeah, you've got like it's a tough one to play so many games when they're not supposed to do that. That's not the idea of having them.
I don't think they're reliable. I don't think Romero and Van der Ven are reliable sometimes. You know what I mean?
Alex, can I just say, obviously you don't know me and Alex are more or less the same person. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But the only thing I will say, is the only reason I probably you don't know I hate Romero, right? We all know I hate Romero with passion. Yeah. But I think the only reason they're unreliable is because they're not fit. I think if we're talking about footballing ability, we can't really sit here and say Dragusin and Davis are a better pairing. Also, they don't pair together because they're two of the same. They're two cheeks of the same arse. Do you know what I'm saying? You got two slow, like they both, well, Davis is left footed, so he's got 2 right feet. Dragusin's got 2 left feet. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they're both the reason Van der Ven and Romero look so good together is because Romero's the loose cannon and Van der Ven's a little bit more composed, a little bit calmer. Even though at times Van der Ven still has these little bozo moments. But yeah, I can't. I'm sorry. I've seen enough of Dragusin. You know what I'm saying? I want him gone already. So I can't even sit here and say it's a decent backup. Do you know what I'm saying? I'd take Dan Burn over flipping Dragusin. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do think Danzo's a good defender as well. I think Danzo's
a good defender as well. When he's come in, Danzo's actually looked solid.
I think he's unlucky. I think he's been unlucky to be out the team. To be honest with you,
if I'm very unlucky. I
don't think he's any better than Sanchez. To be brutally honest.
I think he's inconsistent.
Sanchez was really good in his first couple of years on the court.
I don't think he's any better than the thing with players like Danzo and Davies. I kind of disagree because someone like Burn, highly systemized, playing for Potter, playing for Howe.
Ben Davies.
No, Ben Davies was highly systemized under Conte and played well. So what I'm saying is there's certain players who the system will elevate the quality of what they're given. That's why I had issues with Ange. Because when you play against Palace, yes, you can look like it's like when Bournemouth played and half of their team were missing. I wasn't bothered about whether they won. I was watching the performance of players that don't play regularly versus what the intent of the coach was, and I could see the synergy. When I watch us play with the youth and with the rotated teams, what we saw in preseason 1, where you could sub the team at halftime and they'd all be doing the same thing, it's all gone. Do you know what I mean? We don't have that level of fluidity anymore. And I don't know whether it's been beaten out of Ange. Maybe he's an oil salesman, Emperor's new clothes. You know what I mean? Like it could be any of them, or it could just be he got dealt a really bad hand and he wasn't good enough to deal with it.
So then we can all admit that he's just not good enough. Then,
I mean,
if he wins the trophy, yes.
And that's what I wanted to.
Sorry, I'm sorry, Jords. I'm sorry. If Ange wins a trophy, it will be in spite. If these players win a trophy, I don't see how we can say. I will say fair play, Ange. Well done. But I don't believe Ange has a massive part to play in this.
No.
Go.
Jay, before you go, before you go box office. The reason I just want to caveat this with, because I want to build on. You say it's not on Ange, but are we all not gonna act like Ange didn't make some tactical adaptations to the system for the last couple Europa League games? Are we all gonna act stupid now?
Yes, he's made tactical changes all year. Some of them have been not good enough. That's the problem.
If it's any other manager, they get credit for winning the Europa League. So Ange gets it too, fam.
And he gets credit for it. He gets credit for it. But I'm sorry, this is not on him, right? Because if it was on him, right, he's a terrible manager then. Because why is it he doesn't do the same thing in the Premier League after every single game, right? Why is he not consistent? I'm sorry, I'm about consistency now. No word of a lie. I'm about consistency, and this guy has not shown me any consistency whatsoever.
But do you know the consistency? I will say, just in terms of consistency, the more ball you give up to the opposition, the less consistent your performances should be, in theory, because the variable is what they do with the ball. Yeah, so you can play a low block, a mid block, and things like that. But when you're saying consistency, like the variance on Nottingham Forest performances are very high. Yes, it's gone for them this season, but the variance of what it could have been is vast. So when you're saying consistency, I'm almost going to say, like, I 100% agree. But when you have a constantly adapting tactic, yeah, that's not actually that consistent.
No.
That's on the
And
manager.
also, how can you have consistency when your players are changing every single week?
Well, you can be consistent in having a plan B. You can have a consistent plan B.
But we didn't bring him in.
But that's what he's been doing in the Europa League, though. It's a difference. Adapting the style.
So
that's a plan B, you know.
And that's where I want to focus.
That's what it is.
Because look, we are here to talk Europa League final. We can all sit here and admit the Premier League, it's not gone right. The tactical, look, the last couple of weeks, I don't think we can sit there and we're obviously putting it on Ange, but there's not been much of an expectation on Ange to perform in the Premier League. Let's be honest. None of us as fans have been invested in the Premier League and pretty much gave up with it at least 3 to 4 weeks ago when we've accepted we're going to finish 15th or below. Probably longer for many fans. But if we're talking about the Europa League performances, let's focus on the Bodo Glimt and Frankfurt ties. He went away. He got a solid win against Frankfurt. Let's have it right. That was a good performance in that second game. And it was a solid win to walk away from home. And, in Germany, uncomfortable ground. Play like Jay said, you cannot control how good the other team played the ball. But we got deep, we got low and defended well. Van de Ven Romero put out blinder of performances. And then again, in the Bodo Glimt game, especially the away one, we gave them the ball, let them play in front of us. That's not Ange's tactic, by the way. That's Ange making changes. He let them play in front of us. He just told the team, get low, get tight. The inverted fullbacks, don't invert so much. Keep your width, keep this, stay wide. And Richarlison, when you get on the ball, break the game down, keep winning fouls. Are we not going to sit there and give him credit for those performances? I want to go to Luke first because Luke's obviously our biggest Angean fan. But why do you think? Because I'm looking at the game. I'm like, this is Ange. Like, I don't think that's Ange instructing the players to do that. Whether I like Ange or not, or whether I'm Ange in or out, you have to give him some credit and some plaudits for those performances.
Of course, this is tactics. I mean, straight away, you could tell that what they wanted to do was get the ball wide and get it into the box, and within a second, Richarlison heads it down, Brennan Johnson scores. So it was definitely his tactics. But then you could caveat that and go, why is it taking this long? And I agree with that. So that's the problem, is that it's taken him this long. And also, was the Bergvall injury, was that the catalyst for it? Because he started to bring Bergvall back a little bit. So it was a little bit, it was closer to Bentancur, but then Basuma comes in and they both sit. So is it an injury that's caused him to do that? I said the same thing about Son. With Son being ruled out, did that actually take us to another level because Son was so ineffective beforehand? We brought in Tell and we brought in Odegaard, and did they just do something a bit different? But it's definitely his tactics. The problem he's got is that he's got no credit in the bank. So it doesn't matter what he does, he's going to get criticised. So on the weekend when we played Palace, if he played the first team, everyone would slaughter him and said, why have you played the first team? If we get an injury like we did with Kulu, everyone would say, why did you play them? It's your fault. It's all on you. If he plays a backup team and loses, everyone says, like I've heard on stream all week, Palace have a big game in a week. They could have played all their first team, completely forgetting the fact we played 2 days previous and Palace played a week previous. That's the reason why the team's good. And we do this a lot. Whenever I see people talk about why he doesn't change teams or why he does, it's always, but we haven't got a game for a week. And it's like, yeah, but we played 3 days ago. It's not necessarily what's in front of us. It's also what's been played behind us. So he's got no credit in the bank. So no matter what changes he makes, it don't make a difference unless it goes right and wins. And then even when he does win, it's the whole, oh, well, it ain't on him. It's all on the players. Well, then if that's the case, we need to sell all the players because the players have decided to step up now and not for the last 36 games of the Premier League season. So therefore, they should all be gone.
That's a good point. And box office, I just want to bring you in here because we actually haven't spoke since these Europa League ties have actually played out. And obviously, I know you're a man that's been one of Ange's biggest critics across not just this season, but also last season. Now, when looking at these ties, do you give Ange credit for the way that we set up, the way that we performed in the particularly the second legs against Frankfurt and Bodo? Or are you looking at it and say, similar to what Hotspur Cave J is saying, that the players done it in spite of Ange?
Players did it in spite of Ange, and the coaching staff did it in spite of Ange. 100%.
What do you mean by the coaching staff did it in spite of Ange, though?
Because he didn't. They didn't. I don't think Ange has got a way of doing it. I think he just did. I think the players decided to hold it back and be more defensive, just play their game, right? Because they want to get through. They want to win as well for themselves, all right? And the thing is, though, if it was a case of Ange doing it, he would incorporate it in his tactics going forward. There was no reason not to. All right. Bodo Glint, I'm sorry. Even I've said on my channel, Mr. Box Office TV, after we got through for Frankfurt, I said we're winning the Europa League because we're beating Bodo Glint. Right. I had people, right, on other channels telling me, why are you taking them so lightly? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? I said, it's Bodo Glint. We should be beating Bodo Glint. I got the first result straight away correct, saying 3-1. Then I thought we were going to lose 2-1, sneak it, but we made it easy. We were scaring ourselves. Then we got Man United in the final. Yes, it's going to be a 50-50 game, but we could easily get over that. You know, it'd be a rubbish final though. All day long, it'll be a rubbish final for quality wise, and maybe, you know, for the neutrals, yeah. But we'll get through.
Mr. Box Office, I just want to say one thing about the games though. Since the AZ second leg against AZ, beat AZ, Frankfurt at home, should have beat them. Good performance, went away, did beat them, beat Bodo home and away. Bodo and Lazio out. It's not our fault that we played Bodo because Lazio weren't good enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
if we beat Lazio, and I'm not trying to say Ange should keep his job. I'm just like, I think
Jay, if you're gonna start saying that this was a hard route to the final,
No.
Hold up though.
I've seen Tottenham lose to Basel. I've seen Tottenham lose to Dynamo Zagreb. I've seen us lose. So the one thing I'm not going to do is downplay getting to a European final because the perceived opposition is inferior because they deserve to be there.
But Jay,
I've heard that a lot recently. But you know when Chelsea won the final, the Europa League, they played POAK, so PAK, Vidi from Hungary, and Beatty Borisov in their group stage. They then beat Malmo, Dynamo Kiev, Slavia Prague, and then Frankfurt, and then they beat Arsenal in the final. Never heard anyone speak about how poor that was.
Well, I'm saying no one cares.
I will ask you this question, Mr. Box Office. Let me just quickly ask you this question. Yeah, when Ange was hired, yeah, if I told you that we were going to finish 5th the next season and the following season we were going to win the Europa League, you would have taken it.
Well, no, I wouldn't take it the way
you would, bro.
Wait, just a minute.
Can we get order? Can we get order in the board?
Wait just a minute. Yeah, because I know what you're doing, Jay. I know what you're doing. This is revisionism now, isn't it? Yeah, to try and make your point. No, you're doing revisionism now to try and get your point here. No, I'm sorry, right? And I'm sorry, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you, Luke, as well, with that point as well about Chelsea, bring up Chelsea here, right? When you look at the teams that we played, Alkmaar, we should be beating, right? Okay, we made hard work of that, right? Frankfurt, you might have a little bit of a point, but they had lost their best player, Mamouche, right? So, you know what I mean? Let's not do that. And Bodo Glint, we should be beating. So we're not going to start doing this here, right? When Lazio
doing what, though, Alex?
We're saying that, we should be respecting the fact that we got through.
Would you not taking it? Coming off 8,
but also
selling Kane, and I say, Mr. Box Office, we're going to finish 5th this season, and then next season we're going to win the Europa League. And just for a little bit of extra sauce, we're going to get to the semi-finals of the League Cup. You are taking that.
I'm not taking 17.
You are taking that. Don't lie to me, bro.
I'm not taking 17. No, don't put words in my mouth. Don't put words in my mouth. Jay.
No, we're not doing it.
Jay.
No, we've done revisionism.
Jay, you're not doing this
for years. for
Jay,
years,
we're not
for
doing
years,
this.
you demeaned.
Okay, where's the receipts?
And
Where's
now
the
you want
receipts
to say
then?
it's all about league position.
Where's the
When you
receipts then?
There's
criticise
two
the club for
things.
not winning trophies.
Where's the
There's two
receipts
things.
then?
There's two things. You've mentioned the League Cup. Yeah. Nobody's turned around and gone, oh, do you know what? Credit for Ange in the League Cup. He got to the semi-finals. He beat City. He beat United. He beat the first leg of Liverpool. What a tough run that was. No one cared. Everyone went, you went out. It don't matter. You lost. You went
Can I
out.
tell you why?
But the fact
Can I
who
tell
you
why?
play doesn't really make a difference.
We got rolled.
And then the
over
other
in
thing,
the second leg,
one
though.
sec,
That's why.
the other
That's
thing-
why no one's giving him credit, because they went.
Thank you.
He set the team out. He set the team up. Yeah, poorly. He waited until the 80th something minute to bring Mikey Moore on. He had Jed Spence playing right wing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, the reason he's not getting the praise, and listen, to some, maybe I'm just being harsh because I can't even stand his face, innit? Maybe I'm just being harsh. And
You
maybe
said
he
you would
does-
keep him if he wins it, though.
I was being sarcastic. Come on, George. Bro.
I'm just. We're in the boardroom, so I'm
Hey,
taking everything
okay,
you say.
no. But my thing is, I actually did fair enough, innit? I actually gave Ange praise for beating City, beating United, and actually winning the first leg. If you guys watch my reaction stream, by the way, go check that out. Yeah, go check that out. Yeah. I had sunglasses on and I was sipping a juice. I was laughing because I was gassed. I had the Magnum on deck. I was feeling like Northside. I had the Magnum on deck. But then we went out in the second leg.
I can't agree with you, fam.
I'm just talking about in general about there being no. It doesn't matter about who you play.
Can I land really quick? Yeah. What it is for me, why I can't give him praise for the League Cup is because, like I said, one, we got rolled over 4-0 in the second leg. It didn't even look like there was a game plan. It just looked like go out there and just survive. And I can't give him praise because it's almost like that's just erased all of the hard work. Yeah. You showing that you can sit back against City, who arguably, whether they're a good side of the season or not, they have a very strong attack. You can't sit here and tell me Marmoush, Haaland, De Bruyne, all of these players are. Do you know what I'm saying? He sat back and we defended the lead well, fine, and it was a 1-goal lead as well. The United game again, that one kind of gave me heart palpitations and whatnot. But we defended a 1-goal lead, or even though we conceded. Do you know what I'm saying? And then we go into the first leg against Liverpool, and we sit in for the whole game, and the one chance we get, snatched at it and took it and scored. And then we go into the second leg and I'm thinking, cool, and show me some sort of leadership. Show me that you have a plan. Show me that you're sitting here talking to these players and telling them, look, lads, this ain't going to be easy. The crowd are going to be up for it. I'll give you another example of why I can't give Ange any praise. We got spanked out to Villa 3 days later. I can't respect any manager who, one, can't take any accountability, and two, is just flip-flopping constantly flip-flopping. I can't. I'm sorry.
I hear what you're saying, Jay, and you're not wrong for thinking that way. Yeah. Wait, no. I just want to come in here just to add some,
Jay,
do you know what it is though? We went all the way too far left and went over to the League Cup. But do you know what? Now that Jay's gone through it, I'm glad you mentioned the League Cup because we were talking about Europa.
Can I come back at Jay, please? Because I can't let that lie. Please.
No, but
please,
let me just.
Okay. Then I can put Jay. Can I put Jay? Because I'm sorry, I can't let that lie. I can't let it lie. I need to cook him.
I'm trying to bring some order into the court. That's all I'm doing. Yeah.
But can I cook Jay after you say your piece? Yeah. Can I
cook the paper bag?
Can I cook Jay? Can I cook him? Because he needs cooking.
After what he said to me. You made a good point, and people on the stream might think
it's like the lobster's trying to get out of the boiling water. Like, bro, you're gonna. I know, but no. The reason I wanted to say is because Jay, you spoke about those League Cup games. You said in that second game you wanted him to sit back. You wanted him to learn from those first games and just adapt a bit. Now,
and then he did.
In the Europa League,
he did that. Literally, that's exactly what I was saying. He actually did that.
That's the thing. And now look, some people may say it's too late. For some people, it may be too late. I was one of the fans that said Ange out after the Liverpool game. So with regards to him saving himself and getting back on side with me, I'm with you, Jay. It's too late to get back on side with me. But at the same time, we still have to acknowledge and be unbiased to the fact He has made those changes that you requested, and those changes actually pulled off, and they were effective, and they're the reason why we are where we are right now, and we're making the final. It's because he made those adaptations.
Let me also say as well, I actually said that he got it well wrong with dropping Spence. Odogwu was man of the match over the last 3 European games. He's been unbelievable. So
Bro, he hasn't been unbelievable. No, look, we're doing this wrong again. He's not been unbelible. He's doing his job. He's
playing well.
I apologize.
No. If we're gonna do this, no, we're not doing this.
I didn't know that Alex was an English teacher. I didn't know that Alex was an English teacher.
Alex, it's just a buzzword for YouTube, man. Allow him. It's a buzzword for YouTube. Let Luke talk, man. Just let Luke talk.
The point is, let the main event cook, right? The reason why I say that is, right, why are you saying he's been phenomenal for? Because he's been crap the last how many games? Because he's not been able to play the way that he plays normally. That's the point, right? He hasn't got any better. He's only doing the things that he used to do when he was back in Italy, right? When he was actually being an actual wing back. That's the point.
He's playing well.
He's playing to the way that he plays, and that's it.
You're saying
he must have been playing well in Italy.
You know what Box Office done? Box Office said the same thing. He just didn't want to say that he's been playing well. He did not want to say that.
If he's doing what he was doing in Italy, then he was good enough for us to sign him. That's how he's doing well enough.
Don't use phenomenal. Don't use great. Just use he's been playing.
Well, no, but phenomenal means that he's been absolutely fantastic. He's not phenomenal, bruv. He's just doing.
I said unbelievable. I didn't even say phenomenal.
But do you know what? Yeah, I think. Look, regardless, that there's a lot of feelings about Ange, and I don't expect many people's feelings to change on Ange going into this game. And do you know what? There has actually been. I wanted to read out this quote because David Ornstein was speaking on the managerial situation, what could potentially happen after UEL final. So just bear with me. But he says directly, I think it's unlikely. No, the question was, would Ange Postecoglou keep his job beyond the season, even if Spurs win the Europa League? And he says, I think it's unlikely. I think the direction of travel is for Spurs to make a change in the summer, irrespective of the outcome of this match. I do take the point on the emotion, and we saw what happened with Manchester United under Erik ten Hag, although that may serve as a warning why clubs shouldn't repeat what they did. I just think it's got so bad for Tottenham in the Premier League this season, and they feel that they've invested heavily into the squad. Lies. But yes, there are a lot of young players, and yes, there have been injuries, but the view of the club seems to be that he hasn't got what he should have out of this team this season, and that's putting it politely. Therefore, whatever happens in Europa League campaign, I think that a new coach coming in over the summer is a very high possibility.
Well, the high possibility is because of Paraty. That's it, simple, right? But the point I'm making is, because I'm sorry, Jay, you can't be left with that. Left saying that point, saying, oh, well, I was taking 17th, and
I didn't say, no,
I'm sorry.
I didn't.
No, do you know what, Alex, go for it. I want to hear what you got to say. I want Alex to have
I would have not taken 17th.
Bro, I never said the league position. I said you take winning the Europa League because trophy.
Yeah, but not 17th, though, bruv. Not 16th, bruv. Not 16th, bro.
The entire time I've known you, you've always smashed up Enoch because they don't win us trophies. I know trophies are important. I didn't specify what league position we finish in. I said at the beginning of Ange's reign,
and 20 losses as well, bruv.
No, I think we finished 5th this season, and we win the Europa League the following season, having sold Kane and finished 8th. And you have the audacity to come on the Lord's
audacity when we got 20 losses, bruv. 20 losses.
What do you mean, bro? You're lying.
20
You're
losses.
lying to yourself, bro. You're lying to yourself.
No, I'm not lying to myself, bruv. 20 losses. 20
no,
losses.
But Alex, no, wait. Let me phrase it this way, though. Because what Jay is saying...
Jay, you're joking.
Wait, Alex. Let me phrase it this way, though. Is because Jay's saying, let's just say the story that you've been told, it doesn't include the full context. Forget the context. He's saying, if you was told 2 seasons ago that you would finish 5th and then onwards from 5th, you win a Europa League, would you take it? Forget the losses, forget the league position. Would you take that? You'd bite your hand off at it, right?
I think the question really is: are you willing? What is worth more, the 20 losses or the Europa League? That's really what it is.
That's
I would have took it.
That's
I would
really
have
what
took
the
it with
question
the
is.
20 losses.
Like, would you take 20 losses in the
losses-
league for Europa League? Is the question.
But the
No
20
one's gonna.
losses-
If we win the Europa League,
I
no
would.
rival
I
fans gonna
personally
ban
would.
on
My
next
point
year.
is,
Why
saying
do you
you
have to
had
have a
20
question
losses.
like that in the first place?
No, because my point is people.
You didn't
will
answer,
ask
Alex,
what-
because you don't want to get caught out. You know your answer.
Yeah, bro.
You
that's
know
what
what
I'm
you
trying to say,
done.
bro.
He knows what he
I was
done.
not taking 20 losses, no.
Would you take 3
I'm not-
defeats, sitting in second, and win nothing, or win the Europa League and finish 17th?
I'll take
Come.
third.
The Europa
Why are
League,
you
it doesn't
doing?
really
You're
matter.
lying,
bro.
You're
He's chatting,
lying. No,
bro.
you're lying.
No,
Lying.
this was us
lying.
on the pod.
Not
No,
winning
no,
trophies.
no, no.
I'm stupid
stopping
long
this.
enough
I'm
that
putting
you're
my
lying.
foot
winning
down.
trophies and
I'm
being a
tired of
serial
this, yeah.
loser.
All we were on the pod
Levy's
was
banner,
merely
Levy's
men.
banner for
That is
getting
it,
him out.
bro.
The Levy banner for getting him out has got nothing to do with top 4, top 8. It's got one trophy in 24 years. That's the bottom
Yep.
line. So if
Well,
we
I'm
win a
not talking
trophy
about
next
Levy
year,
though. Why are we getting to Levy for?
Because-
bruv?
because it's about-
Because the fans
It's
care
the
about
same
winning
thing.
trophies. We've been
It's
nearly
about
men
winning
for
trophies.
10 years, bro.
Yeah, so what
if
was
next year,
Yeah,
if we lose 22 games this year, and then Arsenal next year, and we win the Europa League, and Arsenal next year go, yeah, you lost 22 games last year. You're not going to go, yeah, do you know what? We're shit. You're going to go, yeah, we won the Europa League. Shut up. That's it.
No.
It's all about defending Arsenal then.
Oh, wait, let me-
Hold on.
Can I just
Oh,
say,
Marlon.
Because there's a big vital point in this. You battered Kane for years and said he never got over the line. He never won a trophy. What's the difference now then? He finished in the top 4 how many times? But you're now saying that's good enough for Tottenham, but the trophy's not. So what's the difference now? Why was Kane
That's a
not
different
serious?
argument though. I
No,
love
it's not.
this.
No.
I love this,
It's
Marlon.
it's not.
I love this, Marlon. You know why I'm saying this, bro? Marlon, no.
No,
I
but
love
you
this.
just said finishing second is so much better now.
No.
than winning the trophy.
But no, I love
You
this.
have.
I love this,
You
Marlon.
have.
I love this, Marlon. Because the thing is, though, Marlon, the reason why I say Kane's a loser, right? Because
now.
because
Less
at the time before he got the German league, yeah, it's because big players get you over that line. Right, big players get you over that line in trophies. He never done it. He never done it for England as well. So I was absolutely right about that guy. So I don't even know what you're talking about.
Hold on. So if we go over the line in Europa League, do we have big players?
No.
Oh, but
No, we haven't got big
why,
players.
so why is your narrative changing now then?
No, we
you
haven't
just
got
said
big
Kane.
players.
Because you said Kane didn't get over the line.
I'm tired of being
you're telling me,
bro.
you're telling me
That's
then, you're telling me then. Okay, so by your logic then, yeah.
No, it's
These
your
players,
logic. It's not mine.
no. If by your logic,
because I'm
no,
coming
your
back at
logic,
you.
no, your
I'm not
logic.
saying-
Because you answered the question.
Hey,
I'm coming back at you.
can we get one speaker at a time just so everyone can hear one?
By the way, your logic then,
Alex, finish up your
these-
point. I'm going to move it to Jay because
these players should be in the best 11 then. These players should be in our best 11 then.
Okay. Now I know exactly what you're doing,
Okay.
Alex.
So-
What Alex is doing right now, he's trying to protect his opinion and trying to protect his image of what he said out there online. I see it. But we're gonna don't worry, we're gonna catch you out next week.
I'm
We will
going
get you, Alex.
to finish up on this and then pass it over. Listen,
I wanted us to win the Europa League, by the way.
No, Mr. Boxer, I remember being on the stream with you last season after we lost to Fulham in the League Cup. You were very scathing of Ange, his selection, and his approach to that game. Very scathing. Yeah, I remember it because I remember saying to myself, all right, cool. This guy prioritizes cups over league performances. No issue with that. My point about you thought Ange was going to get sacked in his first season. I remember this because we made a bet about it. I never enforced it because I'm not an asshole. But still, stay with me. So my point here is
Give me that money.
my point here is we come into this season and I tell you, we've just finished 8th. We've sold Jay. We're going to finish 5th. And then the next season, I'm not going to tell you where we finish in the league because you've already shown to me multiple times it is irrelevant to you. Yeah? So now, when we win the Europa League, why are you talking to me about defeats? I'm not saying I'd go through the season again. I'm saying for this one time to end our trophy, you would have taken the Europa League without thinking. And that's the point I'm trying to say. Yeah, the pain that we've been through, no one is saying that Postecoglou should necessarily get next season. But I'm not doing the revisionism of a lot of fans who over the last few years, when I've been pushing the narrative that Spurs finishing top 4 and competing at the top end of the league is very, very good for us as a club, They said no, 1 trophy in 20-something years. No, that's not good enough. Now we're about to win a trophy, hopefully, touch wood. They're downplaying it. We played what we did. We lost too many league games. You don't care about that. You care about moaning, more than you care about. You probably care about being right more than moaning. But my point, before I pass it back to Jordan, is you would have taken it. I know you would have taken it. You can talk about the 20 all you want, but in the wider concept,
George, I've got to come back at him.
No, Alex, you're not coming back. No, Alex, you're not coming back from that one. I want to move it on to some other. You're not getting the chance.
Has a point. The Hotspur Cave has a point. He's been trying to get on.
We're gonna move it on. We're gonna move it on to Jay to get his point out. Because ultimately, what Jay just said there is 17th in a trophy is bad. But 17th in a trophy when you've been in 17-year trophy drought, I'll bite your hand off for it. But Jay, come on. I know you wanted to respond to some of those stuff.
Can I just say, you know what, Jay, you actually asked him. This is actually a very valid statement to have. I remember I was on a Never a Foul stream with you, and you said, should a man dying of thirst drink toilet water? And you said absolutely. So my thing is
good memory.
No, I remember. See, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But I think the only problem with that question is the timing of it. If you had asked us this before the 20 losses, or maybe if you had asked us this 10 losses ago, then I think I would have even said yeah. But I think because we've seen the whole thing just fall apart in front of our eyes, it's really hard to sit here and say, oh, you know what, I'll take, because it's the pride. It's the pride.
And that's why it's a one-off. It's a one-off. Like, I'll accept this one time.
You're chatting shit, Jay. You're chatting shit, Jay.
What one?
I'm sorry. No, Jay, you're chatting shit. You're chatting shit.
Let Jay finish his point. You can't let Jay finish his point. You've got to let Jay finish his point.
Finish. Come on, man.
Also, what about? And I want you guys to think about this. Yeah, I actually want you to think about this. It's also
not you, Jay. By the way, not you, Jane. By the way, the other Jay. By the way, JayRatedR, not you. Not you, Jay. By the way.
No, but hear me out. Hear me out. Also, I want you guys to think about the match-going fans as well. I don't think it's fair for them to have to sit there and go and spend their money to watch us get fucked every week. Yeah, excuse my French.
Okay.
To watch us get fucked every week and then say, you know what, it don't matter because we got a trophy. Because let's be real.
I couldn't give a fuck.
No one had to turn up against Palace. They didn't have to go.
Couldn't care less. I couldn't care less.
You say that, bro, but you know how ignorant it is to say, oh, you just don't go
Jay.
there.
Jay, let's be real. Again, the sun was out. There's about 100 other things you can do in England whilst the sun is out. That's better than going to the when you know they're going to lose.
But when you talk about
when you talk about pride,
you see the stands, bro.
When you talk about pride,
like fucking hell, when everyone says I have a flight to catch in like 6 hours, please.
Yeah, that's the point. It's never landing, bro. It's still in the air.
Yeah, you still be in the air for bro. Don't talk about
you gotta check it.
You know what? You're right. You know what I'm saying? Let's just lose. As long as we no. You know what? Fuck that. As long as we lose 20 games, as long as we win a cup, lose 24 games, 25. I don't give a fuck. Just win me a cup. That's all that matters, isn't it?
I mean, look, you've got to look at it like that, though. It has to be. Look, I think what people are forgetting is there's only one currency in football. The currency is trophies, bro. It's not where do you finish in the league. You don't look back on 50. Jay, you can't tell me, 05-06, where did Tottenham finish? Do you know? No. But in 07-08, what did Tottenham do? They won a trophy. Okay. You remember it. You're not going to remember the fucking places.
And also, where did we finish that season? Where the 2 seasons we won the trophy, where did we finish?
13th.
We finished mid-table. When was the last time we got top 4 and won?
We're bottom of the table. You're talking about mid-table.
Bro, we never.
His internet killed him.
Even his internet don't agree.
Bro, Tottenham has never.
Jay, please, Bob, you understand where I'm coming from now.
Bro, no, but Jay, the only reason 17th will become, look, if we win the cup, where we finish will not be an issue. If we don't win it, then there's going to be it's going to be a massive issue.
Yeah,
Marlon, don't do
I
this.
agree,
Ange
but
will
I'm
be enough.
saying,
If we don't win the Europa League, sacking Ange isn't enough. We have to send him to the Hague to go on war crimes.
Exactly.
Because 17th in this season
It's
without a
embarrassing.
cup. Oh my God.
I don't even think he doesn't even deserve to get a plane out of the country. I said this already. They should put him on a dinghy. They should put him on a boat.
It should be sacked 15 minutes
And
into
I
the
will be
game.
there, bro. Yes, but
Do you know what I'm saying? I don't care if he
back.
wins or not. But my point is, yeah, we can move on and whatnot. My point is this, yeah. It's easy in hindsight to sit here and say, oh, well, you know, we've won a trophy, so I guess it don't matter, yeah. But we haven't won the trophy yet, so we can't sit here and act like it's wrapped up and done. There's we're playing a team, yeah, that in their worst seasons to date have won trophies, okay? So we can't sit here and act like we've won the cup already. We just can't do that. I'm sorry. No, nothing you can tell me, oh, you won't remember it in 10, 15 years. No, my pockets remember it though. My wallet, my bank account remembers it.
They're not gonna remember. You're not gonna remember. I guarantee you're not gonna remember. If you win this trophy, you won't remember this season.
In 10 years, we can have this conversation again. And you can ask me, do I remember it?
Yeah.
But now, I remember vividly.
But I'll make this point to Hotspur Cave, and obviously we can move on. I'm saying, listen, I said to myself, listen, if you offered me at the beginning of the season, yeah, you finish 17th and win the Europa League, or you play the season on merit, and what will be. I personally would have played the season on merit.
Sorry, can you repeat that again? It cut out.
I'm saying that basically, if you said instead at the beginning of this season, not at the beginning of it when he started, but at the beginning of this season, coming off fifth, I said you will finish 17th, but you will win the Europa League, or you can play the season fair and square with no promises about where you're going to finish or what you're going to achieve. Yeah, what would you pick? I personally probably would have picked the merit option because I believed in the team on paper being strong enough to win the Europa League. However,
I would have picked that as well.
80% of our fan base, even with that option at the beginning of the season, would have taken 17th in the Europa League. The guarantee of the trophy.
Crap. That's a lot of
It's
crap.
not. They would have taken the guarantee.
Sorry, Jay Hotspur Cave. That you've got to say.
Alex, been waiting. Go on, Alex. Go on. I'm gonna let you fight.
By the way, big up to Hotspur Cave. Yeah, I'm not having a go at you. I wouldn't have a go at you, by the way.
Wait. Big up to Marlon, people.
Big up Marlon.
Make sure you show some support. Spurs Kings TV. They're going live now, so I'm gonna send you guys over to him afterwards. But big up, man. Big up to Marlon.
I'm sorry, JayRatedR. I'm sorry, mate.
Go on, Alex. Go on, get him.
I would not take in 22
We're going to put
losses,
Jay in between you guys so you don't fight anyone.
22 losses, right? Okay. 17th. I'm sorry. There is a standard. There should be a standard, right? And I'm sorry. You can't base success on 6 games, right? On 6 games. Getting through the route to the final of the Europa League. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. Because if we're going to do that, go on.
Because you just said you can't base success off 6 games.
We can't. No.
You're gonna have to, Jay. I think leave and then join again. You're in that.
I think what Alex is trying to say though is that doesn't create sustained success. That creates temporary.
You are, but we can't. No, you are right. Wait, do you know what? Yeah.
So what do you want? Sustained success, or do you just want temporary? Because I can tell you what's gonna happen. Yeah, we finish 17th. What's gonna happen in the summer? Who's gonna look at us?
You're right. What? Do you know what? I'm not even gonna. I want to go on Elijah. You regardless. Elijah, because I know how strongly Elijah feels about managers that win trophies, innit? So I'm gonna let Elijah take this one.
That is fair, to be fair. But like we've already heard, like Jords read out the quote. Once said he's probably gonna leave regardless. So if we're talking about the summer, yeah, Ange's gonna go after we win the Europa Cup. So what the fuck does it matter? The point
what
is,
do you mean? What does it matter though? How does it not matter? The transfer. How does the transfer window?
Because the manager's going to leave. Because the manager is going to leave.
I'm not talking about that though. That wasn't the point I was trying to make. I was saying, yeah, finishing 17th doesn't do any good for the football club, whether you win a cup or not. Unless you win 2-3 trophies, it doesn't do any good for the football club. And I guarantee you, when we spend 95 to 100 million pounds on 3 teenagers this summer.
But
In
that's no, but that's
September-
where you're wrong, Jay. Though, because
Okay.
if
No,
we
he-
win,
he's
wait,
right
wait,
on
let me tell you
He's
why
right on
though.
that.
Because
But
if we win Europa League for one, the Europa League gets you Champions League. You know how much money Champions League qualification brings you. Tottenham need Champions League qualification in order to compete with other clubs. Not financially, because we have the finances there, but to be able to attract players for one, because why you're just like that. Why are players going to want to come Spurs over some of these other clubs in the league? When you got Champions League football, it gives you that option. You can attract
Okay.
these players in,
Can I
but
rebuttal that?
also the finances that come with Champions League football is upwards of 100 million. So yes, it will boost our summer transfer window massively winning Europa League.
When Wolves, all right, cool. Let me put it like this, yeah. I don't think you understand. If you look how many teams are in the Champions League, yeah. Look how many teams. When players are looking at clubs they want to, I'm not saying that we're not going to sign anyone. I'm not saying that at all, and I'm not saying it's going to be impossible. I'm just saying if we're all happy with being 17th, which is the general idea that I'm getting from the panel, then just be happy with a shit window as well. Be prepared to be happy for a shit window.
This
Because
is
I'm
where I
telling
don't
you
agree,
for
though.
free,
This is where I don't
no
agree, though.
player in their right mind
Bro,
will come
be-
to Tottenham, whether we qualify for the
Well, no,
Champions
but
League
that
or not.
doesn't make sense though, Jay, because how does the two things correlate? Because
Yeah.
ultimately, if a team's in Champions League,
Because the
players want
Premier
to play.
League is your bread and butter.
No,
bro.
but Jay, you're saying that like you think European players. Let's have it right. You think they're gonna go, oh, this team finished 17th? No, they're gonna be like, this team's playing Champions League football.
Champions League
You think
football.
they care about Nottingham Forest?
I
But if
wouldn't
they
even say it
finish
like
in
that,
Champions
Jords.
League, Aston Villa finishing. Why did Asensio go to Aston Villa? Let's have it right. Aston Villa can't attract a player like
Yeah.
Asensio.
If-
He went and
if-
played
if-
Champions League.
If Forest
You
make
have
Champions
to be
League, yeah.
forced out.
If Forest make Champions League and we in Forest go for a player, we're still getting that player over Forest. Do you think they're going to Forest over us? We
We're
are
a
a
bigger
top.
club than Forest.
Listen, nah, bro. Listen, we are a top 15 European club. Let's not get it twisted. Like, let's please put some respect on our name. We haven't been in the trenches for 20 years, yeah. Like, trying to break that top 4.
So now it's put respect on
Bro,
our
2
name.
European
The same
finals in
guys
6
that are
years.
champion in
2
20
European
losses
finals in
and
6 years.
finishing
And you have the
17th
audacity
are now
to talk
talking
down
about
on us.
respect. Put respect on our name.
Bro,
What
put
respect does that
respect on
get?
our name.
I'll tell you
Champions
what it
League
does.
final,
It makes
Europa
us
League
look like a
final
bunch of
twice in
fucking
6
flukes,
years, bro. Respect
This
us.
just looks fluke. It's a
It's not
one-off.
fluke.
What's the reason
It can't
for
be
20
fluke.
years?
Nah.
Oh my
But
god, we're the
even-
luckiest team in the world.
Jesus.
Why are we getting
You know
I
what?
was
Nah,
thinking
this is
okay,
crazy,
cool.
bro. This
How
is
is
crazy
that?
work.
Alright,
This is nasty work.
order in the boardroom. Order in the boardroom. Let me just
Nah,
give-
this is nasty work.
do you know what? Yeah,
George,
do you know what? Wait,
I have a question for you, Jords. Yeah.
Alright,
Can you
go
tell
on.
me how Tottenham have progressed this season?
The point isn't progression.
Answer the question.
though.
Can you or not?
No, because you're
Exactly.
making
So
no.
you don't
But
think
Jay,
players
no.
are looking at that?
You didn't ask me. You asked me a question. Didn't even let me answer it. You just jumped in and said exactly.
Go on,
Yeah,
go on. No,
I'm gonna
no,
answer.
You're right,
Yeah,
you're right, my bad.
the progression there hasn't been any. The point is though, is at a point of when we've had 17 years of no trophy, a trophy is progression. So there's not been a sustainable
any
progression
trophy.
where we're going to see an improvement next year on this 11, this squad. We're not going to see that. We'll probably need to see a change in manager, a change in the squad in order to have an actual improvement and a progression. But
What
winning a
world-class player did
trophy
you sign
is
in
a
the Champions
progression
League?
on everything that has happened in the
Yeah.
last 17 years. And this is now,
We don't-
and the
that's
reason
why
why I
told you
put the
this transfer
title of the
window
video
shit,
this
finish,
way,
bro.
this will factually be, whether you like it or not, us winning Europa League is our best ever season in the Premier League. The best ever season, whether you like it or not. Us
we're
winning Europa
answering-
League.
You're answering two different questions here.
Most
One question
successful.
is-
Wait,
we're not-
hold
successful.
on.
When you're
Read that
talking about,
comment.
like,
read that comment, the right
You-
show. Name one world-class player we signed while being in the Champions League.
Yeah, but that's
When
an
we were
ownership
that's-
problem. That isn't to do with that.
Yeah,
that
when
isn't
we
to
were
do
But that's
with
why I'm
That's
saying
the
the league finish doesn't matter for Champions League, though. Like you said before, that we should be looking forward in the summer to
That's
youth
not
players.
what I'm saying. I said name a player that we've signed, a world-class player.
All right,
that
but
we've
Jay,
signed
I'll ask you
because we
another question
qualified
then.
for the
Name me
Champions
world-class
League. You
player that
can't
most
do
teams have
it.
signed. World-class players don't move very often. There's not that many world-class players around. Your point is invalid because if you look at Manchester City, how many world-class players did they sign in the last 5 years? Answer that question to me. It's probably one or two. Your top teams don't sign world-class players nowadays because there's not a plethora of world-class
One or
players
two
around
more
to be
than us.
signed.
Thank you.
But
My
but
point is
the-
proven.
what I'm-
because
what-
you
what I'm
just
trying to
No,
say
wait, I want to bring
yeah.
Luke in because Luke hasn't
Yeah,
spoken
yeah,
for a
sorry,
while.
go
innit?
on, Luke. Sorry, go
Go
on.
on.
I want to
You're-
give
you're
Elijah
asking two
too
different-
after that. Elijah's been fighting for the mic tonight. Elijah,
I might as well just fucking give up, bro.
I got you, brother.
You're asking two different questions. Yeah, the whole Tottenham Arsenal thing, that debate's now come around because they're out of it, and everyone's saying about, oh, what's a more successful season? There's two questions. Is it a more successful season winning a trophy? Does that mean that we're in a better position next year than they are? No. Two things can be true. So have we had a better, more successful season this year by winning a trophy and being Champions League next year than a team that finished second, won fuck all, but are in Champions League next year? We've had a more successful season. We are not in a better position next year than they are, though.
That's it. That's it.
So, and when you said about, I completely agree with you about the respect thing, about we ain't got no chest because of losing 20 games. I ain't got no chest when people talk to me now, when Chelsea fans, Arsenal fans talk to me now, because I ain't won a trophy in years. I got no chest, regardless of how much respect they think they're going to give me or not, because I've lost 20 league games. The trophy says that's it, finished. That whole the whole thing on Twitter about how many days it's been since Spurs last won a trophy, that's gone. The whole the dust is all sprinkled all over Tottenham because we've been clearing out the trophy cabinet, that's gone. All of that's gone. That's nonsense. Then what's the next going to be? Oh, you lost 22 games. Cool. Yeah, won a Europa League. You didn't. What? That's it. But can we continue to do this? No, I completely agree. And is this sustained success? No, it's not. But under this ownership, we're not going to have sustained success. We're not going to keep competing year after year after year without, if we don't change stuff. And also the other thing, and he's exactly right, this is a Europa League. This isn't a Carling Cup. If we won a Carling Cup and finished 17th, there's maybe an argument, and maybe you're right. Maybe there's to say, look, it's a Carling Cup. At the end of the day, you can win a Carling Cup. Wigan done it. Like it's a nothing. This is Europa League. This is pushing you into Champions League. This is a different level of trophy. So for me,
but Luke, without listen, right? I think you made some good points there, right? But the thing is, though, when we look back at this competition right now, right? Okay. We've got a very easy route to the final, right? And this is the point I'm making. This is the point I'm making. Frankfurt, you can have say, but then he changed it, which again I don't believe it's him, right? Okay. Then we have Bodo. And by the way, I think we're going to win the competition. I said it on my channel. Straight after we beat Frankfurt, I said we're going to win it, because I said Bodo Glyn, you're snapping your hand off at it, and Man United or Vata Bilbao. We beat Man United 3 times already. Now, it's 50-50, but we will brag ourselves and get ourselves through it, and that's it. Okay? Then he will be the most successful manager of the past 2 decades, right? Mm-hmm. I've said that myself. I don't like Ange, right? But I've said he will be the most successful manager, right? But on the league performances, though, when I look at the players that we have right now, after this season, I don't see any improvement, and I don't see them getting any better.
And I'm Angin. Well, not Angin. I think we should have kept Ange and we should keep him till the end of the season. And I don't I'm not saying that get to the start of the, if he wins Europa League next year, we're going to be unbelievable. I'm saying that if we win the Europa League right now, that is a huge, huge thing.
I'm not disagreeing with you. This is where we don't. I'm not disagreeing with you, right? I'm looking past it, saying, well, if we win this Europa League, regardless of what I think of Ange, I've got to look past that now. I've got to say, I've got to enjoy this, because this is massive. This is massive for Tottenham.
Oh, if you must.
No, you're not allowed to celebrate, Alex. Stay on that side. Remember, they told us to stay.
Jay, I'm with you, bro.
We can't celebrate, Alex.
But Jay, Hotspur Cave, I'm on your side, by the way. I feel so bad for Elijah here. Elijah's my boy, yeah. He hasn't really said that much. I do apologize.
I'm chilling. Everyone's cooking right now.
The main event is really the main event today. That's what it is.
I know.
I got to know about the main event.
By the way, Luke, do not get used to this. Do not get used to this, son, yeah? I actually got a lot of respect for you, bruv. I've got a lot of respect for you, you know what I mean?
Don't get used to that.
Don't get used to it. Jesus but it's just I just can't go to what Jay says, because I know he's being facetious. I know what he's trying to do. Because he's got his little energy now, because now we got through. He knows.
Look at the grin. Look at him. He knows what he's done.
Not you, Jay. Not you, Jay. I hate the fact we've got two J's. JayRatedR, right? Oh, he's trying to be facetious, saying, "Oh, I wanted a trophy regardless." Yeah, he knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. I didn't want this. I didn't want this. And the thing is,
Man,
though,
like AB in the house,
I can't stand
Yeah,
this
bro.
manager so much because I don't even go to games because of this manager, because he's made me want to go to games. Yeah, because the way we play is the same old story, and that's it for me, right?
Yeah.
He has got no excuses why he can't play the way he played against Frankfurt, Manchester City away, Brentford, and Man United. There's no excuses. No excuses.
City away was a different sort of tactic. Now he's gone to more like two holding midfielders, basically.
Yeah, and
And the reason, and I agree, I think he should have made it earlier. But when we say about the West Ham and the Palace games, let's also forget that he's changing players out. So he's not getting in first 11. He's getting in a team that are not as good, sort of thing. But I completely agree. I completely agree with most of what you're saying. And the whole run, I'm not saying the run's been is hard or difficult or anything like that. I'm just saying when Chelsea won it against Arsenal, their knockout stages was Malmo, Dynamo Kiev, Slavia Prague, and Frankfurt. And nobody says anything about it now. No one says, "I use one of Europa League," but that was dead. And no one cares. They won the Europa League.
Don't matter. It's only the destination that counts.
I got 1 point to add because I'm about to jet in it because I need to go to bed. But the last point I'll make is, look, I'm not saying that we can't celebrate. I'm not saying that fans shouldn't be happy with winning a cup. I'm only asking that we don't allow the delusion to start sinking in, okay? I don't want everyone to start thinking that, and maybe not this panel, maybe this isn't aimed at this panel because we all have functioning brains here, right? But I don't want people to start thinking that this is the beginning of an era for us, because unfortunately, it's not. And my last point is, I know everyone's going to say, we're not talking about the league. We don't care about the league. I hear it. Okay. I do get that. I get that. It's fair enough. If you don't care, you don't care. I care. I will always care. Because at the end of the day, yeah, the Premier League is your bread and butter, right? I don't business. You can't tell me nothing, right? But I will say this. If you believe that winning this Europa League is going to have some mad benefits other than the fact that we can finally say, look, we fucking won something. You're all just as delusional as the Arteta sexuals, as all of these fans that we sit here and call delusional. You're just as delusional as them. And Tottenham Ranger, I will send you my PO box. I'm waiting for that letter signed and sealed. I'm waiting for my apology, brother. Thank you very much.
Big up.
Have a good evening.
Big up. Look, we do have a few super chats that I quickly want to refer to. A few super chats. Before we carry on, we got LB. Bless up, Jay, man. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Hotspur Cave. Everyone's description to their channel is in the everyone's channel is in the description. I don't know what's happening today. Like, man, I keep speaking backwards. Everyone's channel is in the description of this video. Show some love, show some support. You can see their names in the little corners of their section as well. Go support them. Jay, he's on Twitter, always running the spaces. So make sure you subscribe to Jay. Oh no, follow Jay on X. Bloody, I'm all over the place. First of all, LB. If City get some Reinders, the league is done. Yeah, man. Look, City are gonna do City things, and as we said, look, even if we're looking at people, Jay asked, "Where's world-class players?" Wirtz and Reinders aren't world-class. They're top players. They're not world-class. There's not many world-class players you can sign. So that question for me was pretty much invalid. And Bainesy, my bro, man, shout out to Durag Diaries. Come on, man, you know where it is. And oh wait, he just come in with another one. If Ange wins Europa, he should get a statue.
I should get a statue for backing him. Let me just say that.
Does anyone agree with that? I don't know, man. Like,
Bill Nick ain't even got a statue, so.
I want to hear like this point on this, but I'm gonna say the thing about a statue, right? And I look at it like this.
You need a lot of materials for it.
Absolutely. He's been on a diet recently, so that's a bit cheeky. I can't lie, it's a bit cheeky. But no, I'm saying that
I'm fat too, bro. It's mine.
When you look at it, I'll say like, okay, this will be the biggest trophy that North London's seen for 20 years. That's how I look at this. Yeah, that's how I look at it. I don't think that's something you can argue. I think the Europa League is at a higher level. I do think that we're going to see a switch towards Premier League teams winning this competition uniformly moving forward. So it's like I completely get where Alex is coming from in terms of we're bigger, we're stronger, we're better than these teams. Where is the accolade in beating these teams? 100% understand it. And I think it's ironic that Ange earlier on in the Spurs career was talking about how progressing in a cup wasn't going to validate his tenure, but fast forward a year, progressing in the club is what's going to validate his tenure. So life comes at you fast. And I'm not disagreeing with what Alex is saying. I'm more looking at this season as a microcosm that ends with this season. Do you know what I mean? Like you watch a TV show, season 2. Do you know what I mean? Like next Wednesday is basically episode 24. Do you know what I mean? The big season finale. And I'm looking at it from the point of view of saying, next season, we might have new main characters. We might have a new director. We might have all of this. But the thing is you should enjoy season 2, because when we started season 2, we didn't think season 2 was going to be like this. You know, Metacritic, Rotten Tomatoes, giving it a 5 out of 10 rating. But at the end of it, that show's going to go and win an Emmy. That last episode
reels you back in.
We're talking about for years, Mr. Box Office.
But by the way, I just need to remind people, I said we were going to win this Europa League after Frankfurt, and I did say, Jay, if you did hear me, this will be our most successful season in the past 2 decades, right?
It's our most successful season in the Premier League era, because
Premier League era. That's why I'm saying 2 decades, because it is factually, this is fact. This is fact. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, because Europa League is nothing to sniff at. Even what I say, right? Even though I've got my feelings on how we got there and what teams we played, I can't look past it and say, no, that's not a big achievement, because it is. It is a massive achievement, you know, for Tottenham. And I think we will do it. I think we will do it.
Just on that, because look, it seems like all of us are pretty confident of getting the job done in this final. There's no doubt about that. I think we all coming together and we're all going to be behind the fans. And to be fair, I did see something today to say that because again, Jay was alluding to the fact about the other Jay, Hotspur Cave Jay, was alluding to how match day going fans, they don't deserve watching 20 losses and so on. But I've seen a report coming out today from Mike Keegan to say that Tottenham fans are going to significantly outnumber United fans, supporters in Bilbao. We have about 15,000 fans traveling without tickets. Man United have about 2,000. So that goes to show you that the match day going fans care more about this final than anyone. The match day going fans need this day. They want this day. They've been waiting 17, 18 years for this day. So when it comes to are they going to care about the season? They're not. They're going to care about that night out in Bilbao, that weekend, that week they had in Bilbao, whatever it is. That's what they're going to be talking about.
I was that guy.
Miss Box Office, Jordan's right. They're gonna be talking about that night in Bilbao. Thing that Levy deserves credit for, as much as people don't want to say it, is listen, he could have pulled the trigger on Ange at any point this season. Yeah, probably deservedly so. Yeah. But I've never understood the fact, and I know it got terrible, but it got terrible under Mourinho. And the fans under Mourinho, they didn't allow the club to make that decision to sack him because it was just before the final. Why would Ange not be allowed the same logic of, oh, he's still in the cup. Oh, it's only the quarterfinal. Do you know what I mean? To entrust somebody else to guide us the remaining way. Maybe they could have. Maybe they would have set us up to attack versus Frankfurt and they would have killed us. Like, all I'm saying is, if he wins this competition, we've only lost one game. That was with a weakened team, Galatasaray away. Do you know what I mean? I think, I'm not sure I've seen enough from Ange to say I want him to be manager next season. But what more can you ask for if you bring us a European trophy? Do you know what I mean? It's almost like, am I ungrateful because of the league? Like,
that's why I think it needs to be.
I can't fathom it in my head because 20 losses is so many. But like I said to you before, 66% of games only Porro's played it. So that means 10 of our players, of our starting 11, have missed at least a third of the season. Yeah, 10 of our
That's
starters.
an excuse, Jay.
It's
Sorry.
not.
You know what, Alex? I can't even lie. Jay's got it back in. Do you know what it is? Yeah, because I used to be with Jay on this. I know because I was on the dark side before.
Yeah.
But 5 or 6 months ago, I was with Jay in this argument. I was like, nah, man, the injuries. I was giving all the explanation. I had all the percentages up. I was telling people this amount of games missed. We're the most this, we're the most that. But we do have to acknowledge it is excuses. You are right, but it is an excuse because ultimately we aren't the only team that have had injuries. I've actually looked here, and as of this point, there's been about 5 other teams that have had worse injury problems than Spurs. Even I think Arsenal, one of them. Of course, they didn't miss their full back line or anything like that, but they're a team that have had more injuries than us, and there's a lot of teams that have had more injuries than us this season.
And I've got the receipts because look what they said at the beginning of the season. Oh, we don't need a centre back because we've got our centre backs already. We don't need them. So they send some of these people on loan, Vucevic and Phillips on loan. We don't need a midfielder because we believe in because we're so impressed with Gray and Bergvall. So what is this about the injuries then? Because we've got a good squad then because we believe in Gray and bloody Bergvall.
What I'm gonna say is, and listen, I'm honestly in a lot of very positive Spurs chats, and I'm like you guys in that chat. So it's funny because I'm now the contrarian person. I'll make this point that the players that we expected the team to improve when they came back have basically not played Premier League football. They've not really played. Yeah. So our centre back pairing.
What do you mean by that? I'm sorry.
Listen. Van der Ven has played 29% of Premier League games this season.
Yeah, because his hamstring ticked. Yeah, we knew that already.
29% of games. Yeah. And you like
so you're relying on the player that's only played 29% of games.
No, I'm trying to say to you that this team, which is clearly not good enough once we get past the first team, and that can be positioned on the manager, when you have the first team, is still a good team. That's the point.
It should be a good team, so we should be 17th then. That's what you're saying then.
I'm saying
wait. I love this. I don't want to keep going around because we're going to go around as well.
Yeah, we shouldn't be 17th, but on the flip side...
I'm sorry, George, but I just love this. I love Jay because he just feeds my kryptonite.
Absolutely.
Like kryptonite tonight. I love it.
I'm saying to you, you're right.
Woken up the main event. You woke him up.
We shouldn't be 17th. However, Mr. Box Office, do you think how many games should a defense of Dragusin, Forster, and Gray playing for 4 games against elite Premier League attackers? How many games should that defense win?
It should be 20 losses. Definitely not.
But absolutely. And for example, when we played Nottingham Forest, we lost. However, the performance...
And also the argument is as well, right? If he actually played defensively, because people keep on saying we lost games by 1 goal. If we were good defensively, we wouldn't be winning losing games by 1 goal, then wouldn't we, Jay?
Would you make the argument?
We just wouldn't score as much.
Would you not make the argument if we had a better
point, Elijah?
One of the games we might not lose.
Just bringing this back because look, we are going to wrap up soon, but I want to just bring this back to the actual final and the final business because I suppose just briefly, who is confident going into the final and who thinks does anyone think Man United are going to get the job done? I suppose due to heritage, due to the fact that they do this, because with like even taking my Tottenham hat off, Man United do win a lot of finals. When Man United make finals, it's very rare that they lose. They beat Manchester City in the FA Cup final last year, and that was a team that should have rolled them over. A poor Manchester United side. They beat a Newcastle team in the League Cup the year before that. Again, a Newcastle side that was better than them. And they tend to go into a lot of finals and beat teams that are better than them. Is anyone wary or afraid that United are going to do that again against us?
I'd be more confident if we hadn't beaten 3 times in 3. Because I just feel like what's the likelihood of us beating United 4 times out of 4? It's Spurs. The Spurs do that sort of shit.
Yeah.
You know what?
I couldn't care less about that kind of stuff. We're gonna beat them, fam. If we don't, I'm a cry.
That's what I need to hear. You. That's exactly what I need to hear.
Man, I'm talking about heritage, fam. Like, look at these United players, bro. Is Man United heritage 16th, bro? I ain't trying to hear nothing about heritage, fam.
I'm not worried. First of all, like the last few times we played finals, we've played teams that are considerably better than us. So when we played Liverpool, they're better than us. When we played City, they were better than us. When we played Chelsea, they were better than us. This is the first time we're playing a final against a team that's on a similar level, arguably slightly inferior to us. They've not beaten us since 2022. Yeah.
Mhm.
When you look at the last 5 games in Europe, AZ second leg, both legs against Frankfurt, both legs against Bodo, we were
Send it
solid, we were tight, we knew what we were doing. Compare that to United, Bilbao, and Lyon. They gave up chances. At times, they were getting dominated versus both of those teams, etc. I think it comes down to whether or not Amorim wants to come and do a job on us.
Have you heard about their red card?
If they come and try and play us,
Mm.
I think we win. If they
Have you
try
heard
and
about
play
their,
us,
their-
a 50-50
What red
game,
card?
we win. 100%.
Man United?
But
Man
they
United
got
have not gone through a European tie in the last 6 or something without there being a sending off in at least one of the legs for the other team.
Mm.
So they had a sending off. There was a sending off in the semi-final. There was a sending off in the quarter-final, and then I think it predates that.
I did also see
Something
that
crazy.
the guy that's ref in the final. Apparently, Spurs have never won a game ref by him, and Man
And
United
United have always won. They've always
Yeah,
won.
they've never lost a game ref by him as well. Innit? I did see that.
And he got done for taking a bribe 15 years ago or something like that. So
yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how I'm feeling about this.
I don't know why people are worried at the moment. Yes, it is a 50-50 game. It is a 50-50 game. It's going to be a rubbish final. I'll be honest with you. Not for the spectacle for the neutrals, definitely not. Right? But the fact that Ange is his last game, and I know it's his last game. I'm going to say it's his last game because Parati's not having him. Right? When he comes back. Right?
Mhm.
He's going to want to win this for his reputation, winning his second season. So I know this, right? I bet you any money he plays a back 3. I bet you any money, right? Because he knows this is all on his reputation, right? And then when he wins this, right? You either get sacked or walk and say, bye-bye. I proved it to all you Spurs fans that didn't believe in me. Bye-bye. F off. I'm out the door. Bye-bye. See you later.
100%.
See you
Imagine he
later.
comes
And he
to a
deserves
club.
it.
He comes to a club that has had Mourinho, has had Conte, ain't won sod all in fuck knows how long. And at the start of the season, he goes, "I always win something in my second season," and then he goes and win it. That is unbelievable, by the way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm
ST
waiting
Whether
for?
you like him or hate him,
Sounds
that's
like an
fucking-
S-tier manager to me, bro. That's what
I don't know. Trust me. Do you know the one maddest thing is? Because
Sounds like
we
an
all
S
know
tier.
when because look, I forgot to touch on it earlier. We'll leave it out for today. But I was going to talk about his team talk after the semi-final game and how auraless it was and how it definitely didn't move me. I kept seeing loads of people tweet say it's brought me back in. I'm dying. I'm dying. I'm diving headfirst into a brick wall. I'm ready to go and all this. I was like, bro, this team talk didn't move me. I'm not gonna lie, there was no aura in that. But if he gets that trophy and then that video comes out, always in my second season, and then the armpits in the air straight after, that's gonna feed me for the next 5 years. I'm telling you, that's gonna be in my saved. I'm gonna just watch that. I always win in my second season. Dun dun dun. And he's holding the trophy up in the air. I don't think there's gonna be any better way to end the season, man.
But he's gonna win. Yeah, go on. Who's gonna?
I still watch the Ajax semi-final. We won fuck all from it. I still watch the clips of that every now and then just to make me smile. See last-minute winners and shit like that. All players that I enjoyed watching. So if we win a trophy, I'm going to be watching that video non-stop.
He'll definitely win this because the thing is that he play defensive, right? Okay. The only thing that worries me is the attack because I think the attack in the last three European games have been rubbish. It's been rubbish. Let's be honest here, right? Okay, but he'll play wing. I swear, you'll play back 3. He will do it. And
I don't think so. He hasn't played a back 3 since.
And he'll play a double pivot of Bentancur and Basuma, right? Okay, and then he'll either play Kulu in the middle or somebody else, right? Because that's what he's gonna do because he knows this is on him. If he doesn't win this competition, his reputation is bad. It's bad. You know what I mean? So he needs to win this. He knows he needs to win it because that game against Frankfurt woke me up big time. Because since then he's been trolling us. And I said this on Mr. Box Office TV. He has been trolling us, and he's been loving it. He's been absolutely loving it. What he said, "Oh, you got to put up with me in the next couple of weeks now, isn't it?" You know what I mean? So he knows what he's doing. He knows it's.
I think he's
exactly
just one of those guys, and he bites back at the journalists, and we've been seeing that all season long. So there's no surprises there. But like you said there, Alex, look, no matter what way we play, I don't think anyone's going to care about the actual performance. It just matters if we get the job done. And also, people, if we get the job done, you might actually see a happy Alex talking about Spurs for like the first time ever on YouTube. You might see Alex with like a big grin on his face. He's sitting there, been able to talk about his club and be happy. I think we might be able to get that out of him. We might, even though we finished 17th.
Listen,
we're gonna get that out of him. And
listen, let me just say this. Sorry to cut you, bro, but I wanted to go to Bilbao. I really did, but unfortunately, I just can't do it. Unfortunately, financially, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna work.
They put the flight price and hotel price up crazy. I get everyone that's not going for real.
But listen, I knew we were gonna get through for Bodo Glimt, so I should have done something earlier. But it just the thing is, it dawned on me after the game what the big thing is, because it is a big thing. It's a massive thing. Let's not get around it. You know what I mean? So I will be happy, but I still want him gone. I still want him gone.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? So that's not going to change whatsoever, because this guy's just he's ruined this season for me. He's absolutely ruined it for me.
That's the main question from tonight, I think, is are we all still Ange in or what?
I'm Ange out still. 100%.
Do you know what? I love that Luke. If Ange wins this trophy, Luke is gonna go on like a generational run of "I told you so's" to like 90% of the fan base, because he's the only one that stayed having faith, even when we all gave up. He stayed having faith. So
I don't think Luke's that much of an Ange though. I think Luke's more balanced. I don't look at him as
he's an Ange, but he's not an Ange.
I was Ange, but I think there's been too many rows. I just think that at the end of the season, it makes sense for everyone.
Yeah, but you're balanced though. I don't look at you as somebody that is too far that way or this. I just look at you just balanced. I just look at you a balanced guy. Listen, but I'm just giving you a little bit of praise here, because I don't look at you. Because true, but the point is though. Sorry, Jules, I know you want to end. I know you want to end the show soon, but wrap up the show. But I'm just saying, I don't think you're that bad. I know what JayRatedR is like, but I love him. I do actually love him, because he gets the best out of me. You know what I mean? He wakes me up.
Don't get used to that, Jay.
You know what I mean? I love the fact that he wakes me up. You know what I mean? This is the thing. It gets my juices going, and I need Jay, because he says stupid things. So that's the thing. Big up Elijah, by the way, every single time. And by the way, before you end the show, wrap up the show, I've got to give people need to subscribe to this guy, Durag Diaries, They need to subscribe to this guy, because this guy, it has respect, invites me to debate these people, He gives good shows. He should be described, and that's it. So I need people to subscribe and like to this channel. This is coming from Mr. Box Office himself. And if you don't know, you should have got to know this channel already. Back to you, Jords. I'm done. If you don't know, get to know.
If you don't know, you should be getting to know. So smash the likes button. Make sure you subscribe into Spotlight on Spurs for Luke and all his stuff. He's got a video Thursday. Thursday next one. Thursday in the evening. 10:15.
No, 9:30 now, because we're not playing.
9:30. It's a little bit earlier because there's no game on today. No game on this Thursday. So 9:30, his next video. Keep a lookout for that. Elijah, what you got coming up?
Just like the stream, expect nothing from me.
Just expect nothing, but expect everything, because he's always got something coming out. He lies. There's always a video every 2 or 3 days. So too much of E for Elijah. Mr. Box Office TV. Alex, you got. I know I've seen you've been back around active recently. Have you got anything coming on your channel soon this week?
I'm same like Elijah. Don't expect nothing from me. Just
just tune in. Tap the post notification bell. He'll go live sometime, because I'll see. He just goes live when he wants. And then JayRatedR again. Big up to Jay for coming on. Show some support on his ex and go follow him up on there. But no, it's been another good boardroom talk session with the boys. Proper therapy. Alex definitely is not going to forget what Jay said, but we're going to remember what Alex said in 1 week's time when we come back to it after the big armpit. So look, big up to everyone inside. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And man, peace.